Hello everybody, welcome to this month's Google Hangout here at Business Training Made Simple. Thank you all for joining us this month. For those of you who don't know, my name's Sarah Kerrigan. I'm the Social Media Manager here at the Made Simple group and a Social Media Trainer for Business Training Made Simple. And this month we're going to be talking about Facebook competitions and going through exactly what you need to know to run a successful Facebook competition. Now please do post your questions throughout. You can either post them in the question section or you can tweet us at GetTrainedUK. Okay, so I'm just going to transfer over to the slides now and we'll get started. I'm going to try and do all this within 20 minutes. I'm not going to keep you away from your desks for too long. Okay, so Facebook competitions. So what we're going to be covering today is what you can and can't do with Facebook comps. So we're going to be going over the rules and regulations. Facebook are renowned for changing these quite often, so we're just going to clarify exactly what you can and can't do at the moment. We're going to go through how to actually run your Facebook competition, what prize is best to pick, what content you need to create in advance, and an outreach strategy. So firstly, Facebook competition rules. As I said, Facebook are known for changing their page promotions quite frequently, so it's a good idea to Google them beforehand before you start your Facebook competition. I've just taken this from the official rules, Facebook rules. I'm not going to go read through them all, the small print. I'll basically just run through exactly what you need to know. So the most important things are that you are in charge of the competition being legal and for setting out the rules and guidelines. So for instance, you need to decide on any age restrictions, whether it's a UK or international competition, what the closing date is, everything like that. You need to decide on that and you need to post that on your competition app so people can see exactly what the rules are. That's your responsibility. You need to state within those rules that the competition is no way connected to Facebook. And you also now, Facebook state that you can have competitions take place on your page timeline or via an app. Now Facebook say this because sometimes they haven't always allowed people to run competitions off their page timelines. But at the moment you can run a competition off your timeline or through an app. But Facebook do state that you cannot make people use their personal timelines for entries. So for example, you might have seen when you see pages running competitions that people ask you to share the posts on your wall for bonus entries. You cannot do that, so you cannot ask people to share these posts on their personal timelines to enter, or you cannot ask them to share it for bonus entries either, so just be aware of that. And Facebook also state that they will not help you anything to do with your promotion, so it's entirely up to you. It's totally independent of Facebook, even though you're running it on through Facebook. So just be aware of that. So those are all the need to knows. Now very recently there has been, just 2 weeks ago I think, a really big update which Facebook announced, and it's no more like gating. Now for those of you who don't know what like gating is when a page will ask you to like their page before you enter a competition. So that is not allowed anymore. You can no longer make people, as a requirement, like your page to enter your competition. Now really this is a big update for developers and for third-party sites who produce competition apps. It just means they'll have to change the way their app runs. But it's also good for you to be aware of it because you now know that people won't have to like your page to enter your competitions. So Facebook are really cracking down on pages collecting huge amounts of irrelevant likes. They want people to enter the competition because they're interested in it and because they're interested in that page. So that's a big update just to be aware of. And that comes in, at the moment that's fine, November the 5th, 2014, that will come into effect. Okay, so how to run your competition. There's two ways to run your competition, through an app or on your Facebook timeline. Now I'm just going to show you quickly in case you're not quite sure what I mean by an app or off the Facebook wall. So at the moment you can see Made Simple Group are running a competition on their Facebook timeline. So here they're asking people to send in pictures of their shoes, Shoe Snap. We're rebranding at the moment, and the idea is a big part of our rebrand is about putting ourselves in our customers' shoes. So what we're asking our customers to do is send in pictures of their shoes, and then we're going to take a selection of those pictures, frame them, and put them on our wall in our office as a reminder to always put ourselves in our customers' shoes. So you can see here, post a picture of your shoes on our Facebook wall or tweet us at Made Simple Group using hashtag ShoeSnap. So this competition is aimed at our current customers and current audience, and we're running it off our Facebook wall. So there's no app involved, it's just about people posting on our Facebook wall. Now, if you want to run a competition through an app, when I talk about an app, I'm talking about these things here. So that's slightly different. So this is an old competition, it's actually closed now, but I'll click on it just to show you. So if you run it through an app, the competition will open up here. You can see here the offer's ended. And your competition content will be on here. And what I'll do is enter your email address, enter your name, etc., like this page to enter, and then the entries would enter their information there, and that would enter them into the competition. So you can see that's slightly different from running it off your wall. So that's the two options, either run it through an app or off your Facebook wall. Now there's multiple ways to run it through an app. 3 ways. You can either ask your developer to do it, to set up the app, because it does involve a bit of coding, and that's normally they ask for just a one-off payment for the competition. You can use a site such as Woobox, which is a monthly subscription for. I predict now that people won't need to be using these sites anymore, because also another huge update, which literally happened last week, is that you can now run competitions directly through Facebook itself, which you could have never have done before. So Facebook now have an official site that you can run contests through. So I'm just going to go to this site to give you a quick look. As you imagine, people now are going to be using this because it just makes it simpler. It's their official site. There's 2 options here. You can either run competitions for free on here, but if you run them for free, all it will give you is a link to share the competition. It won't allow you to have a tab on your wall. It won't allow it to be published on your wall. Or you can upgrade to premium, and that actually gives you all these benefits here. So you can publish content on your contests on your pages. You can require participants to like your page before entering. Remember, this is what the like gating thing, which I mentioned earlier, is about. As of November, you won't be able to do this, but at the moment you still can. Add images to your questionnaires. So basically, if you upgrade to premium, you'll be able to personalise your competition as well, so it won't have any advertisement on it. At the moment, it's actually very, very reasonable to upgrade. It's only $6 per month. Which is nothing, is it? I don't know if that will go up in the future, because like I said, this has just been launched last week. But at the moment, that's very, very reasonable price. Okay, so that's the 3 ways to run a competition through an app. Ask your developer, use an external site such as Woobox, which you can just set it up very similar to this Facebook site here. It just allows you to set up a competition without any HTML work. Or you can now actually directly run it through Facebook. Or if you want to run a Facebook competition on your wall, this is great for driving likes and comments and lots of engagement on your wall. So it's a slightly different angle to running it through an app, where normally you're asking people for their name, their email, maybe a bit of information about themselves. If you're running it on your wall, it's really for driving lots of comments and engagements on your wall. Now a little bit of inspiration and some examples of what you might want to ask people if you're running competition on your wall. Things like you could ask them to rate one of your products, put a picture of your product on your wall and ask them to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, or ask some feedback and say you'd pick the winner and announce it at 2 p.m. tomorrow. You could post a picture and just ask people to like a picture. Give them incentive and say you're going to announce the winner the next day. So it's kind of short, highly engaging things which you can be doing just to boost engagement on your wall. And of course, the more engagement you get on the wall, then the further your Facebook page is going to reach out organically. Because I'm sure you're all aware that at the moment it's very, very difficult to reach all your fans organically on Facebook. You could do something like a caption contest. So you post a photo and comment below the caption for this photo and say you'll pick a winner at 5:30 today. Those are just examples, a few ideas that you can do to be driving engagement on your wall if you didn't want to be running a competition through an app. Okay, so next, picking your prize. It's very important when you pick your prize that you think about who you're aiming your competition at, because your prize will depend on whether you're aiming your competition at your current customer database or a new audience. So if you're thinking of aiming your competition at your current customer database, then really think about a prize that will appeal to as many of your customers as possible. Now, if you've got a high-end product or high-end services, you might think something like a luxury hamper would be appealing to them. If it's slightly lower end, maybe something like £100 Tesco vouchers. If you've got a new audience for new leads and brand awareness, you need to be thinking about a prize which is more relevant to your industry, because potentially you want to be having a prize that attracts potential customers. So it needs to be something that's related to you, so you attract the right amount of people who then one day might become your customers. So for example, if you sell holidays, you might want to give a weekend away. If you're selling car touch-up paint, I've seen a competition for recently, you might want to give tickets to an event like Goodwood Festival of Speed. So you want to be attracting the right kind of people who will then go on to purchase your products and services. Okay, so it's really important when thinking about your prize, really get inside the mind of your customer or the mind of the people you're trying to attract, and really think about what prize will make them engage and that will make them enter your competition. Some more things to think about when you're thinking about a prize. It sounds silly, but how physically big the prize is. You know, are you going to be able to transport it easily? Are you going to cover the costs of transporting this? So you need to make sure that you put those things in your competition rules as well. And the value of the prize. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to be a high value item, but it does need to be enough to get people interested in. So really, it needs to be at least about £40–50, I think, to get people interested in. If you're running a competition off your Facebook wall, it's slightly different. If you're just asking people to like a photo, then you can get away with giving a smaller prize away. But if you're asking people to give you information like their email address, their name, personal information, you really need to be thinking about a prize that's going to be worth them entering and worth them doing. Okay, so competition content. Now, it's really important that you think of all the content that you need to create before your competition goes live, because trust me, from experience, once that competition goes live and you haven't thought about all these things, you're suddenly in a mad panic to start creating all this content while the clock is ticking to the end of the competition. So what's the best thing to do is write and think exactly what content you need. So things which you might need, like competition rules, for example, that's a must for every competition. So make sure you've got all those written down and documented beforehand. Blog posts. Now this is important for promoting your competition. If you're looking to enter your competition on competition sites, which you can do, such sites like Prize Finder, you will actually need a URL to your website. So you won't be able to enter your Facebook page as a URL, you'll need a URL on your website. So what you'll have to do is create a blog post with just details about the competition and a link allowing people to enter from your blog post. You'll need social media cover photos. So if you want to do a social media takeover of all your platforms, then you need to be creating these beforehand. As you can see at the moment at Made Simple Group, we've got our cover photo here. We've also got the same cover photo on our Twitter wall. We've got it on our Google Plus wall. So here it is. We've got on all of our social media platforms. Even if it is just a Facebook competition, you can be putting it on your other social media platforms, driving people to Facebook, saying, go over to our Facebook page, like us there, and enter our competition. So you need to be thinking about that. Social media posts. Again, this is a must. You need a handful of social media posts. I'd say you can get away with posting about 3 posts a week to do with your competition. Just make sure that those posts you're using different images. You don't want to be using the same image every time. People are going to get bored of seeing that. So different images about 3 times a week is good. And any hashtags. So if you're thinking about using any hashtags within your competition, you need to be checking those out. You need to be doing a bit of research around them first. You need to see what content is already around those hashtags if someone else has used it in the past. It doesn't matter if someone else has used it, as long as there's no offensive content or language around them, as well as they're not hugely popular at the time you're using your contest. That's fine. And you need to be thinking about a mailer design. So this is if you need to be outreaching to any bloggers or influencers, which I'm going to be talking about in a minute. You'll need an email. Oh, sorry, that's the outreach email templates. Mailer design, my apologies, that's your email going out to your current audience and your current database. So if you're positioning your competition at your current audience, then obviously you'll need to be sending out a mailer to those people to inform them about the competition and be pushing them to your Facebook wall, encouraging them to enter and telling them what the incentive is. You'll need a tab image for your app. In case any of you don't know, the tab image is, let me just see here. Don't know if it's going to load, it's been a bit slow. The tab image for your app is the, let me just refresh this, is the small image that I just showed you when I showed you the apps. Okay, that's been a bit funny and slow. But when I showed you the apps on the page, it's just the image of the app there, so just a small image. Then people click on the app and it'll take them through to the competition. And then your outreach email templates. Now these is if you need to be emailing any influencers in your area, any bloggers that you might want to ask to promote your competition, any affiliate partners that you might want to reach out to, asking them to promote your competition to their audience. So there's lots of content there to think about. And my number one advice to you is create all this beforehand, because then as soon as the competition goes live, you can sit back and relax. And if then you suddenly think of anything else last minute, you have plenty of time to create it if all this is done beforehand. Okay, and outreach strategy. Now this is a really, really important thing to think about. If you are creating a competition that is aimed at a new audience, so you're trying to attract new leads, you really, really need to be thinking of an outreach strategy. So my advice to you is I'd make a list of the top 10 influencers or bloggers in your industry and contact them, asking if they will promote your competition, or even maybe if they want to be sponsors of it. It's the most effective way of reaching a new audience. It's very difficult to be reaching a new audience if you're just sharing the competition on your own social media platforms. That's just your existing audience. To really increase that reach of your competition, you need to be getting other people within your industry, other influencers, to be sharing your competition. So this will require an incentive. If you ask in bloggers, they will be looking for something in return, because this is their job. If they're professional bloggers, so they might ask for money. They might ask for maybe one of your products for free. Like I said, you can give them competition sponsorship if it's an affiliate. So I'd really take the time to make a list of those influencers or bloggers. You can use things like Social Bro, which is really helpful platform. It actually tells you, if you sign in with your Twitter account, it'll tell you the biggest influencers in your Twitter followers, and reach out to those people. Pick up the phone if you can, if you've got their number, and ring them, because that's always the best way to get a response. If you don't, then email them, put an email together and actually ask them, what can we offer you? Say that, what can we offer you? What would you be interested in having in return for promoting our competition? And again, make these arrangements before you launch the competition. Don't launch the competition and suddenly panic and go, oh no, no one's sharing it, we need more people to share it. It's just stressful that way. You need to get all this done beforehand. Okay, that's it. I think I did it in 20 minutes, fingers crossed, like I said. So really, really simple steps there, but really, really effective to make sure you do all those things to make your competition successful. You check the rules beforehand, make sure you're up to date, make sure that you know exactly what you need to do. Think about your aims and the prize. That's really important to get your prize right. So think about whether you're aiming your competition at A, your customers, or B, a new audience. And if it's a new audience, it needs to be a prize that's relevant to your industry. If it's your current customers, it needs to be a prize that appeals to them, appeals to the masses. Number 3, create all your content beforehand. You have that list there of everything that you need to check off. And number 4, if you're in your competition a new audience, you need to be outreaching to influencers and bloggers. Okay, so very quickly, our upcoming courses here at Business Training Made Simple we've got coming up if anyone's interested. We've got Social Media for Business on the 11th of September. We've got Online Content and Blogging on the 18th of September. And we've got our Google Plus half-day course on the 26th of September. You can book all those online on our website, businesstrainingmadesimple.co.uk. And our next Google Hangout here is going to be by Matt Castle, who's recently joined the team as a social media trainer and one of our digital marketeers here at the Made Simple group, and that's going to be about how to set up and run LinkedIn groups, and you can register for that on our website if you're not already on our Google Hangout list. And please do tweet us, everyone. Thank you for listening in, and hopefully we'll see you again next month. Any questions, please do comment them on the Hangout and I'll answer them now when I close it down. Thank you, bye.